when we are going to the college, when we are going for the college, you can just submit it, that it can be done, right? Now, here in today's class, I'm going to discuss about your revision part. I'm going to discuss. See, most probably you can expect from fifth onwards, you can have the examinations that we are planning it. So before that, we are going to finish off the revision. Each class, I'm going to finish it one. So when I'm finishing, I'm going to take it to two important parameters here. One, the material, whatever I have distributed to you, that I'm going to open it and I'm going to discuss the topic wise. And later part, you can able to, I'm going to show you the question bank also. So if you have any other doubts or any other things, you can let me know about that, right? So that way, that is the procedure what we are going to follow for our revision part, right? In each and every class, I'm going to have one unit completely. Let me start the first unit, whatever we have now. See, first unit, it was starting with the first energy part, because when we are considering about the first unit, it's a common, it's a, what I call, it is a, instead of common, I'll say here this particular things is going to tell you about the need of conventional fuels. Later on, what is the problems with the conventional fuels, and later on we'll see that non-conventional fuels importance. This is the way it is going to deal. Now when we are going for the energy part is considered, the first and foremost things is how many types of energy resources are available with us. That is the first and foremost things. See, generally, the energy resources are different types. So you can have the fusion process, the energy that is stored inside the earth crust, because that energy we are using as a geothermal energies now that we have discussed in the fifth unit. Fission, fusion that is available, and chemical bonds, and the another other things is generated because of the earth and moon movement, nothing but this is deals with the tidal part. Now instead of writing the five fundamental energies, you can write in a different fashion also now: nuclear fission, fusion, or else you can write it solar, wind. So no need to write this subject. As I told you, this is going to be a generalized subject. Maximum extent, these five energy resources whatever I'm showing now, these energy resources is going to be a combination of the or alternative methods of the things whatever we have discussed. Let me take an example here. You can take nuclear fusion process where you can see the solar energies. And now the gravity generated by the earth and moon, where you are going to get it, the ocean and wave technology, wave energies which are available with us. Nuclear fission reactions, of course you know that. Energy from the earth, geothermal energies. So you can write whatever we have studied, all the things. So those things you can able to write it for this particular answer. Okay, so this is the things what it is that. Now next one, regarding the energy and environment. In the any any particular country, if it is industrial growth, it is to be there. So it has to mainly depends on different factors. The first and foremost factor where it has to depends is the energy availability, long term energy resources, whether it is available with that or not. If the long term energy resources are available with that, so that in naturally that energy can be utilized, and more amount of industrial growth will always be there now, or nothing but economical growth will always be there. If you'll say that it, whether it is consisting of the resources, long term resources availability or not. You can take an example here. Say in case of Dubai or Iran, Iraq, all these things, where it is going to be a desert areas, where the availability of only this particular oil is available. That is going to say that long term availability of the resource which is available with that. Because of availability of this, the economical growth of that particular country, Dubai and everything, is going to be enormous, right? So that way you can answer it. I think in the question bank also, a question 2 marks question, it is available. Economical growth of any country depends on what factors? right? So you can take these particular things. Economical growth of any country depends on the availability of the resources, affordable nature, and accessibility, and their uses, and the pollution part. So these are the factors which is going to influence now, right? So first one, availability should be there, accessible, affordness, it should be there, it should be used, no pollutions, nothing. So then only we can go for utilizing this particular energy as a resources here, right? You can mention that way for that particular answer here. Next, world energy uses. So this is a one of the important question where the total world is going to depends on different type of energies here. Now, the total world is mainly depends on two type of energies. One is conventional energies, and second one is non-conventional energies. When I'm talking about a conventional part, where you will say that coal, natural gas, hydrogen, all these things, oil, all these things comes under the conventional part. If I go for taking another non-conventional, what we can say, it is going to be very lesser a quantity. It is there non-conventional. Now it is gradually increasing day by day now. So previously, it will say that only 2% of the non-conventional or the solar, wind, and all these things it was. Now it is. It'll say that 95 to 98% it was depending on the conventional fuels. Now what is happening? This is gradually the non-conventional part, where it'll say that renewable energy resources is gradually increasing it. Now, one important question is there. A question is there now from this particular world energy uses. What percentage of energies are available here throughout the world? You can write percentages here. Coal, it is going to be 30%. Natural gas, 24%. Hydrogen, 7. Nuclear, it is 4%. Oil, it is going to be 33%. This way, you have to write the percentages here, right? This question is there already. So whenever we are going to say that any question appears from the world energy use, you please consider this graph is going to be very much important now. Very much important. This graph should be there. Without having the graph, this particular graph, nothing will be there. So please consider total amount of, if the question is meant for a 6 marks question, so you'll say that only 2 marks will be there only for this particular graph, right? So yes, the remaining 4 marks, it will be given for other things, the running matter, all the things, whatever you are going to write. So please mention these particular things, please. This graph, it should be there. Second one, percentages, whatever it was mentioned now. Just now I'm showing you this percentages, whatever we have. This percentages carries 1 mark. So totally 3 marks, it will be there only for this. The remaining running matter, whatever we are going to write it, so you can write it in a general fashion, but I have given lot amount. You can read, and whatever the things you want, you can write it. That carries another 3 marks, right? So this way, world energy use throughout the world, what we are going to use it, that it is going to be depends here. Now after this, classification of energy resources. So this is another very important things. The energy resources are going to be classified into two major categories here. One is a primary energy resources, second one is a secondary energy resources. So a question appears, or what is the primary energy resources which are available with us? So how we are going to define the primary energy resources? So primary energy resources are the resources which are naturally available inside the earth. That is called primary energy resources. Now, when I'm talking about the secondary energy resources, the energies which are going to be generated from the primary energy resources is called secondary energy, right? So, suppose if I have a coal, which is available inside the earth, comes under the primary energy part. Crude oil, which is available now for us in the primary earth, so we call that as a primary part. So, coal, crude oil, and the remaining, all these things comes under these primary energy resources categories here. Next, when I'm talking about the secondary part, the secondary energy resources, the energies which are generated from the primary energy resources is called the secondary energy resources. So you can take an example here. So the coal can be just converted into the any a gas or methanol, ethanol. This way you can able to convert that. So of course, the coal is a primary energy resources which is available inside the earth. Now, if I'm just burning it, so you can able to go for generating or converting that into the methanol part. So that's why this comes under the categories here, please. Secondary energy resources, right? Methanol, gasoline part, and hydrogen fuel. Because when we are considering the hydrogen fuel, hydrogen is not going to be generated straight away, as we have already discussed in the fifth unit. When we are discussing in the fifth unit, I told you the hydrogen energy is generated in the different methods. Electrolysis process is one method, steam reforming process is another method. Different methods are there. Nothing but the the electrolysis process, if I'm considering, where we are going to use it water as a resources. From water itself, it is going to be converted into hydrogen and oxygen content. That's why we'll say that hydrogen is a secondary resources, because it was generated from the primary energy resources of water here, right? This comes under these categories. Now we'll see all the things I have given in an elaborate manner I have given. So which we have already discussed in the so many chapters in the consequent elaborately. Now here I have given only introduction part, so please go through that, which is very easy for you now. This is another one which is a generalized one, how hydroelectric energy is generated. So everybody knows it. Whenever we want to go for generating any electricity with the help of the water, we call that as a hydroelectrical energies here. Naturally, when we are considering the water content is there, so when we are considering the water content, this water is always going to consisting of two type of energies. One is the potential energies. Second one is the kinetic energies. So two type of energies which will be available with that. So that's why we are using a dam. So when we are stopping the water at a very higher levels, we are going to say that more amount of potential energies will be there because of its height. Naturally, when I'm saying that water is running from higher dam to the lower part where we are going to provide the turbines, we are saying that it is going to consisting of higher amount of kinetic energies here. So we have water is going to consisting of kinetic energy as well as potential energies. And with the help of these two energies, we are going to have this power generation, right? This is one of the question which has given last question in the question bank, which has been given like a hydro electric energy. How we are going to generate the hydroelectrical energies here. So you can mention the advantages, disadvantages, and each and everything. It is available with us. So please, all of you can utilize it. You can go through that. So you can mention it here, please. Right? Nuclear energies. Of course, here we are going to have it. Nuclear energies. Everybody knows it. You might have already studied in your intermediate itself how uranium is going to be converted and how the energy is going to be liberated with the help of nuclear reactors here. So this, please go through that. So hydropowers. So this is environmental aspects of energy utilizations. This is one of the important question which is available in the question bank itself. Now, what impact will be there? Now, we have discussed so many things here. So conventional fuels we have discussed, like a coal, crude oils we have discussed, natural gas, all these things we have discussed, which comes under the primary energy resources, as well as we can consider it is a non-conventional conventional energy resources here. Now, when we are burning it, we are going to have it certain amount of impact, environmental impact will always be there. You can take an example here, coal, if I'm burning it, you are going to say that, so carbon dioxide is going to liberate and SO2 is always going to be liberated here. And now whenever the SO2 is liberating it, so as it is low density, this gas is going to move up. When it is moving up, what happens? It is going to just contacting with the clouds. When it is contacting with the clouds, you are going to say that only when very important problem is when we are contacting with this. So naturally, when it reaches to the clouds, where we are going to find the water particles here. Now SO2 is going to react with the water particles, and naturally what happens? SO2 plus H2O, it leads to the H2SO4, nothing but sulfuric acids. And this is going to form like a rain here. So acid rain, what we call acid rain, which is going to have it lot amount of problems here. Next, toxic problems are there. So carbon dioxide, CO2, NOx, emissions, all the emissions are going to come out. So these are the some of the impacts here. If a question appears, you can go for this. So in the question bank itself, this question is available. So you can write all these things. Need of renewable energy resources is another question. What we are going to see, that need. So here the question is going to be in a two different types. A question maybe appear straight away, what is the need of renewable energy resources? If that question appears, you can straight away write all these things now, because non-conventional one or the coal, all these things, whatever we are going to identify here, this is going to have a big, very big problem of your pollutions. Now, all these things can be avoided with the help of the uh, renewable energy resources. That advantages here we have written it, and you can straight away write, if a question appears, need of renewable energy resources straight away. Now, another way, the same question you can ask in a different fashion. What is the difference between the conventional fuels and non-conventional fuels? Right? So conventional fuels means petrol, diesel, kerosene, all these things. Non-conventional means it is going to comes under the solar, wind, and all these things. Nothing but non-conventional. Another name is renewable energy resources. Right? So the question may be in a differences fashion. Also, it is going to be there. There you have to write the same thing. So in the non-conventional categories, all these points are going to be there. Now, what we can see, whenever you need to write the differences, you can make an opposite of that to the conventional fuels. Please have it. This question is there in the question bank, but I have not written the answer here. Instead, I have written answer for need of renewable energy resources. Opposite of that is the need of conventional fuels. Right? Please make it, adjust it, and you can make a tabular column wherever if a question appears like a differences between any two things, you please mention a tabular column. Don't forget it. You should mention a tabular column always. Please mention it, right? So this is a renewable energy scenarios now, how it is going to be there. So you can have renewable wind, solar, wind, and all these things. This is some of the important things I have given. This we might have already discussed in the second unit, third unit like this, but I have given a sample picture here in the first unit. Okay. So generalized working and all these things is which is available with you now. Now energy scenarios in Andhra Pradesh. So in energy scenario in Andhra Pradesh, if a question appears, this is the most number of times this question is appearing here. Either a question appears in the energy scenario in India or energy scenario in Andhra Pradesh, all world energy use. Among these three things, one question will appear always. Right? Please be sure about these particular questions. Here also I told you just now when I discussed about the world energy use, I told you if a question is per total 6 marks, 2 marks will be given for a graph and 1 mark will be given for the percentages, whatever we have written it. The energy resources like a coal, oil, percentages and everything, whatever it is going to be there, that percentages carries 1 mark. And the remaining running matter is going to carry 3 marks. So please use that. So here also I have given a clear picture, the total things I have mentioned. So please go through that and please write it once again. Right? Please make it sure how it is to be written. So this is a how energy scenarios in Andhra Pradesh, India. So this also same things which will be applicable. But a 2 marks question, it is in most of the times 2 marks question will be available only representing the pictorial diagram of energy resources in India. If a question appears like a pictorial representations, only the figure. If you need to mention only the figure, you please mention this pie chart. Don't need to mention only this pie chart. You can mention any other form also. No issues. Like a bar chart also you can mention. Like a this particular chart, pie chart also you can mention. Whatever the methodologies you want, you can able to mention it. But this is a 2 marks question, pictorial representation that I have given. If a question appears like a pictorial representation, this figure you need to draw it. And the percentages you need to mention it. So please go through that. And the running matter, whatever the things I told you previously, those things which is applicable for you now. See the solar radiation, of course, this part which is available in the second unit, but unfortunately that I have given in the first unit itself. Please, this is not needed for you. This is not needed. So these are the basic things which is available for you now. Now let me go for seeing the question bank which is available with us. So question bank, I'll share the question bank here. Please go through the question bank. What type of questions are appearing? You can see the question bank here. See here, a question bank. First question is a 2 marks question. Name 5 fundamental energy resources. This is a 2 marks question. So just now we have discussed fundamental energy resources, nuclear fission, fusion, and the energy from the earth. That way, what we have, I have given that. So instead, you can write it 5 fundamental energy resources. One is a geothermal energy, so you can write from the nuclear energies. You can able to write, and the wind part, solar part, biomass, biogas, all these things also you can able to write. No issues. So either way, it is going to be right. So if you are remembering just now, whatever we have discussed in the first part is concerned now. So we have mentioned 5 energy resources or nuclear fission. What we call nuclear fusion is another one. Earth, the energy which inside the earth crust is a third one. So we have seen the earth rotation. Because of that, we are going to have the energies, and chemical bonds is another energies. So all these things we have discussed. So that things you can able to represent here now. Write the differences between renewable and non-renewable energy resources. Just now I told you this question is not going to be available with you straight away. You can write in a general fashion by using the tabular column. You can mention it 2 to 3 points. You can able to mention it. So I have mentioned the renewable energy resources we have mentioned. So consider some of the important points which can be written opposite directions of that. So differences means tabular column. So please mention it. The third bit, mention the energy scenario in the form of pictorial representation in India. Just now I told you pictorial representation, only drawing of the pie chart, and marking all the percentages, whatever it was there inside your material. That the same thing you can able to write. Name the percentages of various energy resources in world energy consumptions. So I just now I told you, when I was discussing about world energy consumptions, we have seen the coal percentage, oil percentage, and the remaining natural gas, nuclear, all these things percentages are there. So please mention that percentages here. Identify the power position in Andhra Pradesh. That graph you can able to mention. So that way it is going to be done. Now, when I'm going for the second question, define conventional and non-conventional energies with an examples. So looks like a conventional, define conventional fuels. How we are going to see that conventional fuels? Conventional fuels definitions which are available inside the earth, or the energies which are available natural is called conventional, especially in the inside the earth we call that as a conventional energies. Example, you can take it: petrol, diesel, kerosene, coal, all these things comes under the categories. Non-conventional is nothing but renewable energy resources. So that you can able to see this, you can able to mention it now, right? So one more things, say outline the merits and demerits of conventional energy resources. So this question is a generalized question. Conventional energy resources like a petrol, diesel, kerosene, all these things, what advantages we have? What advantages you have? You can able to mention it. What advantages? So the first advantage, the existing engines, it can be used straight away. Petrol, if I'm using petrol engines, I can use it straight away. Easy for usage. Usage is also very easy for me, right? Usage will be easy, and person amount of efficiency whatever I'm going to get it is easy. Existing components I can go for utilizing it, right? All these things we can able to do it now. Conventional fuels, if they are asking what advantages, ఇప్పుడు పెట్రోల్ వాడడం వల్ల మీకు వచ్చిన అడ్వాంటేజ్, ఇన్స్టెడ్ ఆఫ్ యూసింగ్ సోలార్ అనుకోండి, what advantage? The first one, existing engines we can use it without any modifications. The component, new component purchasing is not needed for me. Now the efficiency of this particular things is more, and availability of that is going to be more. If I need a petrol for my bike, I can go to a petrol bunk and where I can directly take it petrol from the petrol pump and I can run it. Very easy. No need to convert the existing into the other, right? So that are the some of the advantages you can write in a general fashion, please. Next, energy. Describe the renewable energy scenario in Andhra Pradesh. Just now I told you this question is a full marks question, so you can take into considerations here, please. What are the energy scenarios available in India? So that also energy part in India, we can write generate a report on the usage of world energy use. These are the three things. Any one of these three things you can get it. And now, sixth A question: assess the need of renewable energy resources. What is the need of renewable energy resources that is available? So you can go for mentioning the same thing, please. Renewable energy resources need. So that question is also available, and I have given a clear cut notes for that. You can go for utilizing, just like why it is needed in order to avoid the pollutions here, in order to save the health consciousness. Health hazard problems will be available, will be avoided. All these things it can able to done it with the help of this. Now see this, describe the impact of energy utilizations on the environment. See, when we are using the conventional, this question is also there in your notes. So straight away, energy utilization on the environment, right? So this, what environmental problem it is going to be there if I'm using the conventional fuels. Just now I told you, when we are using the conventional fuels, we are going to say one important thing, especially when we are using the conventional fuels like a coal. You are going to have the SO2 emissions, sulfur dioxide emissions, and this sulfur dioxide is going to move up because it is a gas, so where density is lesser. So because of that, it is going to move up. Now when it is moving up, it is going to interact with the clouds, where it is going in the clouds, you can always expect certain amount of water particles, moisture particles will always be there. Now it is reacting with SO2 H2O, forms like a H2SO4 sulfuric acid here. So those things it is going to be done. So that is possible enough. So that problem is there. NOx emission problem is always going to be there. NOx emissions, because nitrogen is going to be inert at lower temperatures. If the temperature is gradually increasing, the impact is going to be more. So many number of impacts are there now. Many number of impacts are there, right? So please go through that. See now, so what we are going to find, sixth B, explain briefly any three renewable energy resources. The questions in the first unit itself, I have given it. So you can name anything, please. So solar, wind part, geothermal, tidal, biogas, biomass, all these things, name anything. And you can able to write any three things, please. I have given hydro, I have given for you, and I have given the solar part, wind part, I have given, and now biomass, biogas, all these things I have given in the first unit itself. So in a short answers now. So you can take any three and you can go for representing it here. But please remember, whenever you are going to write it, wherever it is possible, please mention the rough diagrams now. Diagrams will always indicates, it always takes you. So please consider that. Next, go to the seventh one, three renewable resources, 7th A. And 7B, economic growth of any country depends on the energies. So the first, at the starting point, first page itself, I told you, our notes first page. So economical growth of any countries. Economical growth of any country depends upon industrializations. Industrialization mainly depends on the energy availability. Energy availability or industrialization depends on the long-term resources availability with you now. If you are taking petrol, if you are taking diesel, if it is available long term for 20 years, 30 years, your country's growth will be enormous here. Maybe it is going to be available with you, but if offeredness is going to be there, it is going to be more advantageous, right? Offeredness means if you can able to utilize it, that's going to be more advantageous. If you're not able to utilize, not advantageous here. So we have discussed so many factors. Please go through, everybody please go through the that particular factors now, and that will be more advantageous for you, right? That question is there straight away in the first question, first what you can say, first page of our total things you can we have mentioned here. Now, eighth question: how do you classify the energy sources and brief them? See, now this it deals with the classifications place. The energies are classified into two types of things. One is a primary energy resources, second one is a secondary energy resources. Just now I discussed primary energy resources are the energy resources which are available inside the earth is called primary energy resources, right? So when we are all the things, you can take an example of coal, petrol, diesel, kerosene, all these things comes under these particular categories now, including nuclear energy also comes under the primary energy resources, because for nuclear energies you need uranium or thorium. All these things are also available inside the earth, and we need to dig it and we need to do it. That is the things what we can able to do, we can able to take it now. So this is a way what we can consider now, is the classification primary. When I'm talking about the secondary energy resources point is considered, secondary energy resources are the energy resources which are produced from the primary part, from the primary. If I take water content which is available naturally now, what I call this as a primary energy resources now. Now from the water, if I'm just doing the electrolysis process, I can able to generate hydrogen and oxygen content. And now this hydrogen we call this as a secondary energy resources. Please go through that this way, that classification chart and brief representations. We don't need to have big paragraphs here. Keep a side heading of a coal, you can mention primary energy resources. Coal, if I say that, only 2 points or two points or 3 points is sufficient, please, not more than that. So this way you please go through all the things, please, all the things you please represent it, right? Then only you can see that the same thing is applicable from primary as well as the secondary energy resources. For both the things it is applicable now. So please take care about that primary energy and secondary resources classifications here, please. And after the classifications, what we have now, ninth questions. Now the same thing, same questions, only here discuss about the primary energy resources here, only 5 marks question. The same thing there, the previous question it was a full marks question, primary and secondary. Now we have mentioned only primary here, please. So ninth b bit, interrupt the merits and demerits of primary energy resources. So energy resources advantages, whatever it is available with you, I have given clear cut, each one by one advantages I have given. So you need to sum it now. So I have mentioned when I was discussing about the advantages part, coal advantages we have given, water advantages we have given. This way, individual advantages I have mentioned here. But now what to do now? You need to go for mentioning the combined things, because all the merits of the primary energy resources they are asking us. So you can go for taking care about that. So the material inside the material, everything is available. So please go through that. 9b bit here, 9b bit, write a short notes on, sorry, 9b bit, interrupt the merits and demerits. Okay, sorry, 10th question, write a short notes on hydroelectrical energies here, right? So the just now we have seen the hydroelectrical energies, how it is going to be generated power. The same thing, advantages and disadvantages, that same complete things is available with you, complete things is available with you, so inside the notes. So how we are going to say that first and for most things, when whenever we are representing about uh, hydroelectrical part, we need to see it is going to be generated from the water, and we need to represent, and as it is consisting of the potential energies as well as kinetic energies, so we are going to utilize it by the construction of a dam. So that way you need to mention those things I have mentioned in the uh, things whatever we have discussed just now. So this way the total 10 questions which is applicable here, and of course advantages and disadvantages are also there. What advantages we have? So easy constructions, easy power generation, it can be done. Now transferring of the power is also easy for me. So some advantages. Some disadvantages are, whenever we need to see hydroelectrical energy, so I need to construct a big dam. we need to construct a very big dam. Whenever we need to construct a very big dam, see, the initial investment of the dam is going to be much more higher. So crores of rupees, just like nowadays, whatever we are going to see with the Polavaram, so where we are going to find more amount of cost is incurring around 50 to 60,000 crores of rupees. We are doing it only towards the construction of this particular things. Dam. Now, that is nothing but initial investment is going to be much more higher with that. So there are another important things is this dam also you cannot go for constructing it naturally wherever you want. You need to take care about the positions. So three sides it should be hills and one natural things, natural hills, and only one side you can able to construct the dam. So that problem, that things which is available, advantages or some disadvantages are available. So those things you can able to go through that. You can able to go through that. The material whatever I have mentioned, all the things which is available for you now, more amount of material is available, so you can utilize it whatever the things you want. Okay, so in the this is about the first unit, and in the next session when I'm going for discussing about the second and third unit, because when we have seen the second unit and third unit are going to be smallest units, only smallest units which is available, and of course fourth unit is going to be the biggest, and second and third is small. So that's why in the coming class in the next sessions, so I'm going to discuss about the question bank of second and third unit both, right? So both the things I'll discuss it in the next sessions. So whenever I'm going to discuss about that, please have your question banks, please check it, and material also please have it. So whatever the answers it is, so please make it mark of that, mark it immediately in the notes, so that easy for recognitions. So I told you this time you are going to have the question paper from this question bank only. That's why please take care about this. So please read all the questions from this, right? If anything you want to discuss, please discuss with me. Any doubts or something else regarding the question bank, our question bank answers, whatever we have. So please let me know about that.